All right. Good morning. Good morning. Remember this song from back in the day? Can't do that anymore. Remember you used to drive in the car with your mom? She'd be smoking in the car and you know, like this in the back seat. No seatbelt, facing backwards in the trunk. Hold on, I want to hear it. Anyway, what's up? What's up? Good morning, my doggies. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer, T3Live.com, founder of Red Dog Mindset. This is the 6:30 Club where you guys tune in. I've been told no more than 20 minutes. I've been going over 20 minutes like every day for the past multiple months because there's just so much to go over. There's so many stocks moving. There's so many different names, different setups, so many things to do. Good morning, Blair. Good morning, Bull. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Tony. What up, Thomas? Thank you, Kenneth. Yes. So last night, yesterday I had to go to Florida. I was in Florida. I took a 7 a.m. flight. Went to a funeral, then came back on a 7:30 flight at night, and it was delayed. And I was sitting in the airport, probably, and didn't get home until like 2:30. But guess what? You get home at 2:30 in the morning, you still set your alarm for 4:30. You still get up. You still take care of business. You do what you have to do, and you have to show up for your family no matter what. If you think you need to be somewhere, don't second guess yourself. You go there. Anyway, so this morning it feels decent. I'm waking up. I have a bunch of positions on. The futures are up 55 handles. The word is that, we're going to get a deal with China, on again, off again. Everyone's like, how could you trade with Trump's stuff? Bottom line is, we've had some ways to take down some risk, but every time we take down risk, the market rebuilds and gives us ways to re-enter responsibly after some market discovery. So anyway, so with that said, this is the SPYs, right? SPYs, first, remember this down day looked like it was over for the market. And then for 4 days, it rebuilt while some things showed some relative strength, got us back involved. Then all of a sudden, this was last Thursday, gave you a reason to be long, right? It said, hey, we're back above the 8-day leaders are leading. And then Friday had a gap up above the all-time high. And all of a sudden here, we're up another 6. So if you're just caught short because this isn't supposed to end well, you know what? You have an opinion that the market's not confirming yet. So if you're hating life and you're short and you're following the wrong people, then take some accountability. You're not following your rules and you don't deserve to make money. You're probably losing money and you're wishing for bad news. But anyway, here we are up 6 at 683, above 678. Wow. So don't start reading your 401ks and your IRAs and oh my God, because chances are you're in your 40s or your 50s and you're not cashing in your 401k for another decade. So that doesn't matter. But if you trade for a living, it's October 27th. I hope you had a great month. I know for me, I started out like gangbusters. I was up a lot of money in the first week or so, and then it's been a little choppy since. I get paid quarterly, not monthly. So I'm going to try and put it together. But anyway, so here we are. You always have to trim into some strength, and there's nothing bearish about this chart. Q's also, did the same thing. Q's rebuilt. Q's gave you a way to re-enter. And I know we had this big bearish engulfing candle, but guess what? It rebuilt. It took back remember, I'm like, will the sellers be able to reject price at 50%? It never did. And then last Thursday, took back the 8-day. This was your way. If you got out because you got stopped out on this loose wide day on Wednesday, Thursday, you had to readjust and you had to re-engage and you had to go with what was working. And anyway, so there you are. So people want to know what do I have into earnings right now. I do have Amazon into earnings, okay? And I have a decent head start. So if you guys remember last week, I was telling you guys, first of all, it's not really a focus, even though I'm long the stock and I'm long the options. Down here, I was like, you know what, guys, let's buy the 230 calls for earnings. So I bought the 230 calls thinking that if we're going to miss something in Amazon and if there's going to be some kind of catalyst here to get it back to 238 or 242, you know what? I want to get into weakness because buying strength in Amazon has not worked. This is when the wedge broke to the downside. And right here, remember that big outing, the AWS outing? Well, it kind of rebuilt, and I'm in the stock, and I'm going to trim some into some strength, and I will hold for earnings. Just might as well, at this point. Hopefully Jeff doesn't sell in. It's up 4 today. That's good. So I'm coming in. Thank goodness. I'm tired. I was sitting in the airport till 2:30 in the morning. We're on the plane. So I'm coming in and I'm just trimming some things. So anyway, so Amazon is at 228. This is 228 right here. So I guess see what happens if, I'm going to be trimming this morning. I'm not adding. I'll probably trim a little. I might turn it into a call spread. When's earnings for Amazon? Amazon is the 30th. So we still have a bunch of days. So I will definitely be trimming into this. That was good. Apple has been awesome. Apple has probably been one of my better trades. I've given you guys so many ways to buy it, options, this, that. And, at this day, remember that was when we re-engaged Apple after getting stopped out here, trimmed some into new highs, and then we retested the 8th day and gave you a really nice entry. Like, this thing is trading fantastic. Apple is trading like when I was the old school Red Dog Apple trader. And now, where's Apple this morning? It's probably above that pivot, and you got to trim some. So earnings on Apple are the 30th also. It's only the 27th. A lot of time between now and then. So I do have Apple shares, and I don't have Apple options on. I have only Amazon options. Microsoft is kind of like sitting around, and some of my guys are in the 520 calls. I'm not. It did get above 517. So if you're in it, congratulations. Make sure to trim and trail. And I'm not in Meta either. Oh, that's not Meta. But Meta looks pretty good. Meta held this area. It's been very, trade by appointment type. It's not been the Meta of old, but it's been fine. Meta took back all the moving averages. So, it depends on where you want to focus. So, Meta, to me, it's a little loose and wide. So anyway, all right, what else? So what have I been doing positioning? So before we get to, first of all, I just want to say Tesla was a little mean on Friday. It was. Listen, I know Tesla doesn't want everybody to get a free ride, but at post earnings, just to show you how you don't have to take stock into earnings, or not stock, but even options. Like, I took a TSLL calls into Tesla earnings, thinking I might miss something. And then obviously the stock was down like $15, and it gave you a really good reversal. So I lost on my options because I thought I had to be in there for earnings. But then once you had price discovery, I made a lot more buying it. And then Friday, it was just weaker. But it's not the end of the world. But this was a great reversal on Tesla where it held 411, it took back 429, gave you a nice move. But then it definitely was a pain in the ass on Friday. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So with that being said, I'd love to see it hang in here. Tesla, I don't know. It's up 7-ish, right? It's up 7, so that's good. I bought some options into that pullback. I sold some puts into that, but I'm not in the shares. So those are the three high, and if it could hold up today, and hold in here and they can't sell it down, I will add Tesla shares again. But I want to make sure that happens. Tesla on Friday was wave 2 pullback, wave 3 on deck. Okay, there you go. What does that mean? It's higher or lower? What's a wave 3? I'm kidding. But anyway. So we'll see. If it would be nice if Tesla could hold up and hang in there and build another inside day for better action above there. Then I gave you guys ways to enter. Oklo, ASTS, Iron, BTD, all those guys. So Oklo, if you sold the Red Dog reversal here at 183, you were able to buy it into the 50-day. Okay, now I would trim some. I wouldn't chase Oklo here. OKLO. I just, it's just had its move to 143. It's in no man's land. Just needs time to rebuild. I didn't go really. I traded this one here. I probably could have made more money, but whatever. I didn't stay with it. So what am I building a position in? I'm rebuilding a position in this Poet Technologies. Poet Technologies is a stock that a lot of my institutional friends said they're going to be buying. They're going to be accumulating. So you want to keep this on your radar. This is really going to be something I feel like over the next year. It's going to continue to the upside. It's a little one though. I also rebought UMAC, the drone name, down here. I actually bought it right before that news, which was nice. From 17 down. This is Don Jr.'s stock, so I bought some. I'm going to stay with it. We're going to start hearing about all the deals from the Iron Drone, whatever it is. The guys were buying QS again. Listen, the market's trading really, really good. Like if you look at this red dog reversal here at 1775, you're able to rebuy it back. And then their conference call was great. I know they don't have revenue, but they're meeting their endpoints. You know, that the the hard battery technology is something that I think that a lot of car OEMs are going to be adopting, because you could go further with your electric vehicle. But anyway, so this is pretty cool. You know, nice move here. Um, everyone wants everything for free. Come on, guys. If you're making money, there's a cost to doing business. But anyway, so this was a nice trade. I kind of bought back this BBAI. It's not great. I think it needs time to rebuild. You know, I bought it back. I sold a bunch above 840, so I bought some back. I've also been buying a lot of IBIT. So remember the turkey trot last year? Remember Tommy was so big and strong, and usually you have a nice move in Bitcoin right into Thanksgiving, and then usually the unknowns start buying it at Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, it just went huge into it. So, you know, for the power plays and power play options, which are free this week, so hopefully there'll be some power plays that I put on there. I'm not going to do it just to do it. I was a buyer of IBIT calls. If you remember here, we were a buyer of IBIT calls, and I sold all of them into that. The 67s was great, and then I started buying the 74s here, and then that happened. So I did buy some more. I went out further. I'm in like November 21 options for Bitcoin. It'd be nice if we get a run there. So with that said, I think IBIT, a lot of T3 guys are going to be excited because we did use that as a concept trade. I don't like to do concept trades. I like to do things that have ignited and they're going, and that happens in a lot of places. But Bitcoin to me is, you could buy it every single month, or you could figure out a time where you could buy a dip and then it gets better, kind of like what happened here. And then that gap up that never got filled yielded that move. So anyway, yeah, the wolf. I never re-engaged the wolf. It met my target of 16 and change, and it did come back and rebuild. So that's why sometimes you have to re-engage some things. But anyway, for those of you who re-shorted gold on Thursday, I told you guys you could re-short into the 8-day, and hopefully you did so right here. You had I sold my puts here, and because we caught a really nice trade in gold, and then some of you guys bought it into the, why not? If you sold, the strength or the parabolic type move, you were able to buy some back at the 21-day, which held since here. And then I was like, guys, get the hell out of the way. Some guys put on some puts, and if you did so, you're getting paid. Gold's down. Time and place for everything. So it's good to see gold down and crypto up. Gold guys were getting a little ahead of themselves for quite some time, so maybe it'll rebuild for that. Pony, I never re-engaged. I lost some money in options, but I might look back at it again. If you remember, I was like, who's going to get where first? Will the wolf get to 16 or Pony get to 30? Well, the wolf got to 16 and Pony only got to here before coming in. Yeah, this could be a good spot. China names got a little bit better. So if I were you, I'd be going with Baba and Baidu instead of Pony, but this is probably a decent spot. It's just going to need some time to rebuild. Anyway, guys, listen, it's 6:45. I'm sorry, but management's getting upset. I've been given the 6:30 club for over 25 minutes, where I'm only allowed to do 20. But again, I find a lot of guys like yourself who become part of the alpha team, where I put 40 charts. I'm listening to music all morning. I'm interacting with them. They get to see what I buy, what I sell. A lot of them did already the 20 to 520 workout. Yes. I got home at 2:30 in the morning, and I still did my 20 to 520 in the sauna with my dogs, listening to my play music and talking and thinking about how I'm going to manage my positions and my stocks and keep my routine strong. At this point, someone asked me BTDR. I'm still building a position here too. I think this is going to make a new high on the year at some point. It's not 2780 is not the high. It's back above the 8-day here, so that's nice. Iron, which is the big brother, kind of rebuilt. It came in. This candle right here got a lot of people long again. I would be trimming into this. So there's been a lot of really good, range trades also, besides things that you rebuilt with. You look like Tony Horton. Who's Tony Horton? Meanwhile, did you see the Jets? What's his face died? That was at 41. Wow, the offensive lineman. That was at the. Listen, guys, you better friggin' live life to the fullest. and do what you're supposed to do, because every day above ground is a good day. You never know when your number is going to be called. My cousin did pass away. He was 70 years old. He fought with addiction his whole life, and he didn't have to leave so early. And it's pretty sad listening to the eulogies by his daughters, and just anyway. And then you saw, what, what was his? I can't remember his name right now. Rangold. Yeah, but anyway, so there's a lot. Listen, a lot going on. You could be in some of the mag names. You could be in options for earnings, but options for earnings is tough. Remember what I said? Like, I lost money in my options for Tesla, but made a lot the day after. Like, you don't have to just try and be in lotto plays, because they can cost you some money. Post earnings, you get a lot of points of reference, and you got lots of ways to re-put on trades. If you have the right strategy. Yeah, Nick Mangold. Mongold. I don't want to say his name wrong. But anyway, so for today, hopefully you're coming in with some positions. I have over 10 plus options, and you get to trim and trail and figure it out. If you're just in the position, this isn't going to end well because you hate the who's in office or what's going on with the government shutdown. I don't even think I've mentioned the government shutdown once. Hopefully the friggin' Democrats and Republicans aren't paying themselves. That's why the plane was so damn delayed, because they didn't have traffic controllers there, because whatever. Anyway, yeah, kind of a legend. Legends, they don't discriminate. God doesn't discriminate against the legend. If you're a legend, you still get diseases. You still, they still call your number. Everyone's people. Shadows and dust. I'll tell you. So don't get ahead of yourself. Don't think who you are. Enjoy yourself. Respect everything. Be nice. It's nice to be nice, and continue to manage your process so you could control what you can control and be a good person for your family. And at this point, it's hard to buy things probably in the first hour of the day, but doesn't mean it's such an easy short either. This is 678.47. The SPYs. Does it hold and build, or does it fade? Look where the 8-day is. So, definitely should be trimming some things into this. I did pick up 2 pieces of garbage today. Ken, did you? It's another thing. You could pick up garbage every day and be a good citizen. So, I've told that story a bunch of times. I'm not going to tell it today. I have too many charts to do. So at this point, manage your process. Again, Amazon gave you lots of ways to rebuy it. I know it was frustrating, and I definitely lost money too. I was a buyer in here thinking it would resolve to the upside. It didn't. It went to the downside, but right here could have been your re-entry. And now you could be trimming some. Apple's been awesome. And, Tesla, to me, I'm not looking to add. I would love to see Tesla just hold and do another inside day. Don't go from green to red. That would be annoying. That would make it seem like, this was more of a predatory fake out than this was. So we'll figure that out. We'll see what kind of opportunities present. But today we'll see, does it hold in here and hang better? Google's been absolutely fantastic. A lot of my guys are sitting here. It's been a great swing trade, showing that you could be in a Mag 7 name, following the rules. So many different ways to buy the 8-day. I've been given a great strategy there. I just haven't been as engaged. I've been buying and doing other things. You can't kiss all the babies, my dog. Listen, stack some days, net some money, stay prepared, keep your mind right. Okay, I said something this weekend where I've seen so many traders come and go, very talented traders that are no longer in this business. I didn't mean to insult anyone, but the bottom line is they got, they let their highs get too high, their lows get too low. They didn't manage their mindset. They didn't get prepared, and they're, wasted talent without preparation. It's just the worst thing in sports is like, when you have somebody who's so talented and has so many tools and doesn't put in the work. Put in the damn work, and you might be able to do this a long time and keep it as a career versus a flash in the pan. You don't want to be a flash in the pan. See you guys later.